even in consistent, like what I found is creativity a lot of time comes from structure.
I agree. I'm
You know
so glad you said
like
that.
when you have those parameters and the structure, then within that you can be creative. But like if you don't have the structure, you're just aimlessly doing stuff. You're just like, you know, where are you going? You know, so like having a clear structure of understanding. Okay, this morning I'm going to, like when I was writing a Wizard Art series and outlining Legacy, I come in the morning, 7 a.m. and I'm there. I'm writing backstory from 7 to 12. Then go pick up my kids, and then I come right back and I'm writing again. So like within that structure, you know, my mind when I go to sleep is already like planning of what the next day is going to be, because I know, you know, what it is I have to do. It's that consistency and structure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm writing my first book right now.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people have been asking me like, Jay, and I'm like that. I have a very scheduled focus on writing, and people be like, well, how do you find inspiration at that time? What if you're not inspired at that time? And I'm like, no, the structure helps spontaneity. Yeah. Right? It's that consistency that breeds creativity.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, you know, people think like you're just kind of, you know, mulling along, and all of a sudden, aha, you know, like the show that we have on ESPN now called Detail, basketball, you know, sports breakdown show. That came to me when I was walking around with my wife shopping. Yeah. And I look at a piece of fabric and I'm like, wow, this is really the detail. And this thing is, oh my, detail. That's the name of the show. And then everything came from there. But I had been thinking about a show like that for like a year. Yeah. You know, and I couldn't shake it loose. I'm like, what? I gotta find a sports show that I'm going to do, but can't just be basketball focused, has to be broader. And I want to hear from the best minds in the world. I want to hear from Peyton Manning. I want to hear from, what is it? For like a year. And then all of a sudden, boom. You know, and so people think it just comes out of nowhere. Yeah. You got to like obsess over it for a while, and then it kind of pops loose.
Absolutely. Yeah. You had to plant the seed well before to see the fruit.
Yeah. And you got to water it all the time, man. Like you got to sit down and watch other shows that are out there, and like, you know, and then ultimately you just find, you know, like when the answer comes to you, it's like, my God, I could have thought of that on the first day. I remember John Williams told me that. He said he'll sit for like 2 months to try to figure out what the melody is. Yeah. And he'll just be playing. He'll be at his piano all day. He'll say the only day he'll take off is Sunday because his wife forces him to take Sundays off. And he'll just be sitting there writing. And then it just comes. Yeah. And he's like, I seriously could have thought of that on the first day. Like, why? It's just so simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what people don't realize as well. Like when you go out, then you're shopping with your wife and you see the detail and you're like, okay, that's the show. And then you go back into consistency to create it. Yeah. It's like, you know, it wasn't just like, oh, now I thought of it, I'm just going to throw that idea.